everybody, welcome back to the channel. In today's episode, I'll be taking these Chaos Knight War Dogs right here, this model from Games Workshop, and I'm going to be kitbashing and making this kind of my own model, but basically using the whole model, just breaking it apart and adding some other details. Right here, this is what's inside the box, the 6 sprue rats. First of all, here I constructed both legs for the first model because there is 2 of them, but right now I'll just be focusing on one. And right here I'm going to be gluing kind of the torso bit together to connect the legs to the body. And to glue all this, for the plastic pieces, I am using plastic cement. And right here I'm drilling a small hole right here with my vice grip. And this is going to be where I'm going to put in some wire because the legs were a little too close to each other. So I thought it'd be better to have them kind of spread out more, as well as this is going to be the first customization to my own custom model. Once I had that wire glued in, here I'm adding a few beads just to kind of fill in that gap between the torso and the legs. And this is going to give a good base to possibly sculpt on some green stuff later on. And for these parts I am using super glue because the beads aren't the right plastic, so yeah. Right here I'm just kind of gluing the ends in just to make sure it all holds together nicely. Once I had the legs done, I also glued together the feet and put those on, and now I'm going to be super gluing the whole thing to the base. I like to do this early on because it gives me a nice steady area to work up and build on top of, so yeah. Once I had that all glued on, I attached a couple more little details, including some wires and some exhaust vents, and then I started to build the first part of the body right there. Now here I am going to take some of the plastic cement and I'm just gluing a couple parts of the body together to start building that. This right here is the back of it, and I'm kind of gluing together this sort of pipe slash bottle. I'm not sure what it is, but it looks like it has some sort of function. And right here, now I'm using the vice grip again to drill a hole into the top, and right there, laying on the ground, you can see I have constructed the whole body. And I'm just kind of making sure how I'm going to fit this together, as well as maybe elongate it with another wire like I did with the legs. Once I had that drilled, here I'm putting another piece of that wire in, just because the original model, it was all just kind of scrunched up together, and I thought it would be kind of cool, just to give it a little more freedom. As you can see, what I mean right here is just it looks a little too short. So I'm going to be kind of raising that up a bit and making it a little taller. Once I had that wire in, I'm just going to glue it in place. And again, using super glue for this because the wire isn't plastic. And then I'm going to add a few beads just to kind of fill it in. Once those were all glued together, I'm going to glue on the body onto the top of this right here. And it has this kind of little hole that the bead kind of fits in perfectly, so yeah. I thought it'd be kind of cool to have the pose where it's kind of looking down at one of his enemies, and that's what I kind of did with it, so yeah. Now that we have it all glued together, the body, and I also added the top carapace, right, as you can see there, I'm going to start adding the arms. And right here is one of the arm shoulder joints, and I'm going to be adding that right here to the left side. Once I had that on, here I'm constructing together the chainsaw arm is what I chose for. And I think for the total model I'm going to be going with the carnivore dog. And that's just kind of melee, mostly, with no really ranged weapons. There I completed the left arm and attached the chainsaw to it. And now I might thinking about doing a minigun on this side, but I feel like that looks a little off, so I'm opted out for this grabby claw hand. I thought it looked really cool, and I kind of made it in a pose where it's reaching out, trying to grab something or block something. Here I'm using my vice grip again and just going to drill a hole into his head, because the head together into the body does look a little scrunched up again, so I'm going to add another wire right here to kind of build out his neck, as well as give the head a little more freedom to move around and be a little easier to paint. And here I'm gluing a couple parts together, and this is going to be the head. And they did have a couple different options for the head, but I decided to choose on this kind of a little less carnivore corn looking for this kind of a little more innocent robot look. As you can see, it just looks a little too scrunched up, so I'm going to kind of pull it down like that and give him kind of a drooping neck. Once I had the wire in place, here I drilled another hole into the back of his head, and I'll just be attaching it kind of like this. And there it is attached and all ready. And that's pretty much most of the building done. And now we're going to be doing a lot of sculpting with some green stuff. And yeah. First of all, before the green stuff though, we do want to add the shoulder pads and some of the more armor. These do really look cool on it as well, so. And I kind of tried to glue them on the right shape and spot of the arms to kind of give it a more realistic look. And here's a little more of the kitbashing part. I'm going to be drilling a bunch of holes in and kind of adding some of my own wires, just giving it a little more kind of robotic, old, worn down effect. Once I had a bunch of the wires in, here I'm mixing up some of the green stuff. This is just a 2-part epoxy putty that you mix until it's green. Here it is, all green and ready, and I did let it sit for a little while to kind of get tacky, because that is easier to work with. And now here I'm just going to kind of be sculpting around some of the beads and kind of giving it a more organic look and just trying to make it kind of all fit in together. Once I had kind of shaped out a bunch of little tentacles and more parts, I'm going to be giving it a little bit of more of a kind of a gutty flesh texture. And I have these little epoxy putty tools that I'm using for that. And now for the kind of the body right there that I extended, I'm going to be doing a couple tentacles like I did with the neck. And yeah. After I had all that done, here I'm gluing a couple more kind of piping vents into the back. This just kind of sticks out and adds some more cool effect. As you can see there, the tentacles all done and ready. Okay, it's looking pretty cool. Alright, and here I took some more green stuff and kind of making just little rags and kind of cloth around the model, just wrapping some of his legs and arms and just giving it some more visual effects and details. Yeah, and I also added a bunch of little skulls kind of into his body, mixed with the tentacles. Alright, and that right there is pretty much all the building done. Looks pretty cool. This was really fun too, kind of the kit bashing. This is the largest kit bash I've ever really done. So, but right before we're done with that, there's a little kind of gun we can add right here to the top, and yeah. Alright, here all the building and sculpting is finally complete. Looks super cool, can't wait to paint this guy. But first we're going to have to add a little bit to the base before we get into painting. So yeah, that's what we're going to do next. Here I'm just applying a pretty thick coat of Mod Podge around the whole base. And this is just going to give it a nice kind of base to work up upon, and I also will be adding a bunch of little bit of rocks and sand into the stuff. Alright, and there it is all dry. As you can see, I added some sand and rocks at the base. It's looking pretty cool. And this has already been quite a bit, kind of a long video, so I will not have the painting tutorial in this, but here it is all painted up and done. This is super fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I love doing stuff like this, and if you guys have any ideas or things you want to tell me, please list them in the comment section below. Please subscribe, leave a like, go check out some of my other videos, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Stay tuned for my next videos and content. Hope to see you guys all next time. Thanks all. Peace out.